All right, back with part 2. Good thing, too, because I think I was like already 18 minutes in the video, so I had to stop. So, yeah, I was playing my Morley. I was testing it, and, you know, it sounds great on the bass, but again, get a bass amp. If you're going to play bass, get a bass amp. Do not get a regular guitar amp, because my shit actually blew up a couple times. But thankfully, it'll restart. It'll reset itself once you turn it off and on. But still, you do not want to play a heavy metal style on the a guitar amp with a fucking bass. Like, excuse my language, but it's true. You know, I tried really hard not to say that, as you can tell, but it slipped out. So, but yeah, you know, that Morley is amazing, man. I like that pedal. I couldn't stop talking about it yesterday. I was telling Jake about it. I texted Nate about, you know, where are you with thinking of something. But if he doesn't want to play anything, I told him, if you don't have to do anything if you don't want to. It was just, I think it'd just be fun if you joined. You know, but, you know, we do need a drummer, but you can play whatever you want, you know, reasonably, like a guitar, or not a bass, because I'm going to be a bassist, but I mean, he could play bass if he wants. It's just, you know, I'm the bassist of my little group of people right now, you know what I mean, so, yeah, but I've been learning chords. Power chords. I know how to do power chords now, which is awesome. I know how to do power chords. I know how to do pretty much it. Yeah, it's funny because that's the reason why I didn't want to do electric guitar to begin with anyway, was because of chords. I didn't think I'd learn chords, but I'm actually learning chords pretty well, so... yeah, awesome. But which kind of inspired me to want to get more electric guitars now. Originally, I just wanted to collect basses. I just wanted to collect bass. Plural, not basses. Bass. I wanted to collect more bass guitars. But I'm gonna be real. I've been really liking electric guitars lately too. I've been really liking playing my Fender. Hence, I've been playing it all week. I actually haven't busted the bass guitar out in a few weeks since yesterday. And but I'm still pretty good at both. I'm still decent at both. And I'm gonna turn this back on again for a little bit. And then, you know, went to Guitar Maniacs on Saturday. Paid off my Rickenbacker bass. So now I'm at like $23.72, I think, that I owe. That's left. Still over $2,000, but hey, at least I paid $1,200 in this last, close to $1,200 in this last 3 months, you know, because I've been paying since July, and I already paid them like $1,000, over $1,000. So I'm on the right schedule. But if I want to finance for a really expensive guitar, I'm going to that. That's for sure. I'm going to go to Guitar Maniacs. Because I can't finance with Guitar Center and Ted Brown and Music and Arts. I can't do it with them. Too expensive, man. Too expensive. So, but yeah, I went there. I only played a Thunderbird. Again, I actually really like the Thunderbirds. The bass. The Thunderbird bass guitar. But it was an Epiphone. They actually sold their 64. They sold the 2018 Rickenbacker that was hanging out there. The blue, midnight blue 2018 4003S. They sold that one finally. Which I did want to get that one too, but you know, you can't get everything. They have a Warwick bass that I really am eyeballing right now too, only for $1,200. I want that, but I gotta really get back on my finances after this bass, because now I have an actual bass and a electric guitar, you know. So it's just not the time to collect guitars, but I do want to get a Warwick bass. I do, and don't get me wrong, I like the Fender jazz bass and the precision bass. It's just, you know, I want something more exquisite, even though those are the best basses of all time. Apparently, they're either the jazz or the precision. Something's the number one bass out of all the bass tiers, I guess. But you know, it's just, I just didn't want to get a Fender bass. I really didn't, you know, because you see them everywhere. I just wanted basses that you never see, you know, but are still up there that people really eyeball. A Warwick, people eyeball those. A Rickenbacker, people are definitely eyeballing those, you know. Sure, for granted, Les Pauls are seen, but, you know, you don't really see people playing Les Pauls. People play more Strats and stuff like that. Ibanez nowadays. But, yeah, I do want to get a Les Paul, a Gibson Les Paul. I want the Gibson ES335. That's what I want. I was playing that Saturday night at Guitar Center. Man, that thing is just so smooth. It's so smooth. It's so crisp with the power chords, with the chords. Oh, man, I tell you, it just sounded so beautiful. I'm almost at the gate, so I might pause it. Or I'm going to pause it when I get there. I'm going to pause it. All right. So, the MP military police started blaring his fucking lights, so I was like, what the fuck? That kind of had me like, what is happening for a sec? Alright, let's turn this off again. So yeah, that's about it, really, folks. You know, I want to get a Les Paul, an ES335. I actually played a Flying V for the first time in a long time. Didn't like it. I don't know how people like it. It just feels awkward how it slants on your lap, and, you know, having the V between your leg. That sounds so weird. But, you know, it didn't feel very good. It didn't feel very good, and no. And then I tried, they had an actual Gibson Orville at, why did I go this way? At, a Gibson Orville at, Guitar Maniacs, but I didn't really pick up any guitars. You know, I just picked up the Epiphone Thunderbird, and then that was it. But the Gibson, it was like a Gibson Orville. The same guitars that James Hetfield plays that are not Flying V's or Les Pauls. And that was hella ugly. I didn't like it either. Sorry, James. No, you know, but everyone's got their preferences for guitars, though. There's nobody there. Yeah, I played one of those, and I'm gonna tell you, man, those hockey stick heads, dude, are so freaking ugly, bro. Those things are so ugly, dude. All the best to people who play Jacksons and stuff like that, but it's just, and ESPs and shit like that, but it's just a no to me. I am good off of that, bruh. So, but that ES335, man, oh my gosh, that was so nice. But they want $3,600 for it, which I can't really talk because the Rickenbacker's right under that. And then the Les Paul is, the prices for those varies. But that's mainly what I want. And I also want a Telecaster, a Les Paul. Oh, there's that Cybertruck behind me. It's going in too. Yeah, Les Paul, a Telecaster, and an ES335. Those are the only real guitars that I really, really have an eye for. But other than that, I don't really have a feel for other guitars. I mean, a Venture Bros guitars, a Monstrite is pretty cool too, but I don't really want one of those, honestly. I'm just gonna park here. Actually, let's see. What about these spots? Oh, there's a Cooper there. I'll park here. But yeah, and then for the basses, just I'll probably want a new Rickenbacker at some point too, a 4003 and Jet Fire Glow or something like that. Oh fuck, I know why. I know. Well, just a smidge. Yeah, that's good enough. So yeah, a Rickenbacker 4003, a new one, just, so then I have a new one. But the 4001's good enough for me. But the 4003, that would complete it for me. And Fire Glow, because I don't want two black Rickenbackers. Just, and maybe a Rickenbacker, a regular electric guitar too, maybe. But those are up the yin yang too. Those I haven't actually came across. I've never came across electric Rickenbacker guitars. I've only came across the 4001 and 3S. Those are the only two I've ever came across in real life, are the ones at Guitar Maniacs, and one of them I bought. The other one is already sold, but I've never came across electric guitars, Rickenbacker, But, maybe one day. But anyway, maybe something of that nature. I like the John Lennon one. I like the John Lennon one. But ideally, any of them are probably amazing. But they're probably like $2,000 to $3,000 to $5,000. So yeah, I can add those. And then for basses, like I said, the Warwick, and I think that's it, really. The Warwick 4003. And then, again, the Fender basses are cool, but I don't really want those. Maybe I might want something like that down the line, but ideally I don't. And that's about it, really. I don't really know for other basses. But anyway, I'm going to end it here because I don't have to get in yet. It's 7:18. I still got time to hang out. So yeah, quite a few electric guitars and just a couple of basses, and maybe just be a Rickenbacker player or something like that. So then when I get the 4003, I can retire the 4001 at some point, because that 4001 is like 1982, and that is extremely special. So, vintage guitars like that, you got to be real careful with. But yeah, they had a Warwick there. And a Gibson Thunderbird. I want a Gibson Thunderbird at some point too. a new one. If an old one comes across, that's awesome, but not $17,000 for one. But, you know, that's how much they go for, the 60s ones at least. And, yeah, you know, but ideally a new one, probably a new one. Gibson SGs are cool, but I don't really care for those too much either. They sound nice, they play nice, but I just don't care for the shape. Like the shape and the pick guard and all that. I don't really care for the look of that. The bass is pretty cool too, but don't really care for that either. And then, yeah, but anyway, I don't know what other basses there are that I take a liking to. I guess it's just the Rick and the Warwick and the Thunderbird. Those are the only basses I can think of on the top of my head at the moment. Oh, and the Hofner. The Hofner's another one that I want at some point too. But yeah, those are like $3,000 for an actual Hofner, not a Chinese Hofner. I want a legit German-made Hofner. But they're like $3,000, and they're kind of hard to come across. But you can order them online. That's the beautiful thing about online is you can have them shipped to a place. And I have played a Hofner before, and they sound nice. I have played a Hofner before. The Kingston bass that I have is the closest that I have to a Hofner. But, you know, I have played a real Hofner at Guitar Center. Even though it was just a Chinese one, it's still a Hofner. But I want a legit German-made Hofner. So, and that's going to be pretty expensive. I'll have to write a list of guitars, but obviously I just need to play it slow because my Rickenbackers is going to be amazing. My Fender sounds amazing. I really don't hear the difference between single coil and humbuckers. Other than the fact that humbuckers are slightly a little deeper, but that's about it. But they sound pretty much the same, really. But, you know, a double humbucker for that metal really is more ideal. But, you know, they all sound amazing. My guitar will do any of it, really. And then the bass, that's where I'm really going to head to with a band, you know, is bass guitars. But anyway, I'm going to end it here for real. I'm going to go in now. So, yeah. Y'all have a good day. It's just today and tomorrow. And then new adventure after that. So, yeah. Bye for now.